Dear students, today I am going to conduct the experiment 8. So here we study about the steering systems. What are the types of steering systems and how it works? Okay. So these are the apparatus of our experiment, and let's enter the theory part. So the steering system allows, okay, first is a given an introduction to what is steering. The steering system allows the driver to guide the vehicle along the road and turn left or right as desired, okay, because the steering you use to turn the vehicle to a desired direction, okay. So we will be studying the steering mechanism. Okay, I have to tell some supporting parts which connected to the steering. Okay, so first of all we study the pitman arm type of steering. There are two types of steering here. Okay, one is pitman type of steering arm type. Second is rack and pinion type. Okay, so before that I explain some things, the supporting parts. For an example, in the steering knuckles. So the wheels are supported on steering knuckles. Okay. Then steering knuckles are attached to the steering arms by ball joint. Okay. So the ball joint at each wheel permit the steering knuckle to swing side to side. The movement turns the front wheels left or right so that car can be steered. That means I saw some photos. Here you can see. Okay, this is the wheel, and here steering knuckle. Okay, this is steering knuckle, and this is the steering knuckle arm here. Okay, this is the lower arm. This is the lower arm. Okay, this is the wheel axle. This means this is a CV joint. Okay, the front drive vehicle. Okay, here you can see this joint is called ball joint. Okay, ball joint, and this is the rod. Okay, steering rod. This is the steering rod. Okay, this is the steering rod. Okay, and this is the ball joint, and here this arm and this whole area called the steering knuckle. Okay, so first the steering knuckle connect with the wheel, then steering knuckle and steering rod connected by this ball joint. Okay, according to the this is the flexible. Okay, this bend is we can, okay, it's a little bit flexible. Okay, so we can bend or twist this joint. Okay, according to the steering, apply the steering. Okay, the direction of the steering, this joint can move the steering left or right. Okay, so this is the sound. It is not a hard, stiff or 1 minute. This is the joint can move up. Okay, at its axis. So on the other photo is this also same. Okay, here you can see. Okay, this is the steering column and this is a racking pinion. I will explain later. Here you can see this is the ball joint. Okay, the ball joint, this rod is connect with the ball joint. Okay, so because of the steering, this rack, okay, this rack move this word or that word. Okay, according to that there is a pressure applied in the ball joint, so force applied in the ball joint. So according to that, the steering can turn. So this is the Pitman arm type. Okay, the Pitman arm type steering. This type of steering used in the heavy vehicle. Okay, not a small vehicle. It's mostly used in the lorry or buses. They widely use this type of Pitman steering. Okay, so first I show an animation. So you will get a clear idea. This is steering wheel. The steering wheel connected with the steering column or shaft. Okay. So that is a flexible joint. Okay, steering column. This is the flexible joint, and here you can see these type of arrangement. You already see in the this type of arrangement in the differential or in the valve. Okay, in the valves there is a vertical cam. Okay, that's a horizontal cam is connected with the vertical cam. Not the valve, it's ignition. The ignition distributor. The distributor cam also like that. Okay, so here also this is rotated like this. Okay, because of this gear arrangement, that the rotation is converted to the vertical direction. Okay. So this is converted to the vertical, then again is connected with the flexible coupling. Here this is called, I will explain clearly. How it connected with the wheel. Sorry. Here this called recirculating ball gearbox. Okay, steering gearbox. I will explain this part later. So here is blue color is Pitman arm. Okay, that is connect with the so this is the rod type of linkage. These are the mechanical linkages. Okay, these are the mechanical linkages. So you can see the photo. This is the type. This is a top view. Okay. So here there is tie rod and track rod. Okay. You can. This is a recirculating ball gearbox, tie rod. This is the track rod. This is the Pitman arm. Okay. Here, this blue color is track rod. This is tie rod. Okay. This blue color. This is the Pitman arm, and here is a recirculating gearbox. Okay. In this video, you just understand how this is work. Okay, I will explain later how this recirculating ball gearbox is working. Okay, when this steering is rotate, okay, this Pitman arm move left and right. Okay, not a circular motion. It's like a circular motion, not a complete circle. Okay. Okay. According to the steering, it pull the steering knuckle or track rod. Okay. According to that, the wheel can't turn. Okay. Okay, next we study about recirculating balls. Okay, that gearbox I already told. Yeah, before. We study only this area, recirculating ball gearbox. Okay, here you know when we when we turn the rotate the steering, what will happen? This pitman arm move. Okay, this linkages move this way or that way according to that pitman also. Okay, move. Okay, move this two ways. Okay. So this is the recirculating ball gearbox. Okay, first I give an introduction. Okay, this is steering shaft. Here the steering. Okay, just to identify the parts. Okay, this is the steering shaft, and this is the worm gear. Okay, there's a gear engine. It's called worm gear, and here this is ball nut track. Okay, this is a part which have the ball nut track, and inside of that you can see recirculating ball bearings. Okay, this kind of balls fill the grooves. Okay, these grooves, and here there is another part, the sector gear. Okay, this sector gear worm threads move with this ball nut track thread. Okay, so here you already know that the pitman arm. Here you can see clearly. Okay, when this shaft is this bearing, when this shaft is rotate, okay, this is the worm gear. Okay, there are some threaded gear. What will happen? It is fixed. Okay, here there is a bearing, here there is a bearing. This shaft is fixed. Okay, so normally this shaft is not moved. Here bearings. Okay, this is the shaft. Okay, thread. This is a thread. Okay, this shaft is rotated like this, but not moved this way or that way. Okay, there is no motion. Okay, is located in a firm position and is not moved, but here there is a ball nut track. Okay, the ball track inside of this ball nut. Okay, there's like a ring here inside gear. Okay, here it's have inside gear, that's inside gear, and here the worm gear is meshed. Okay, so when this shaft is rotated, this ball nut track move from its position. Okay, so when the steering is rotated like this, okay, here there is a steering. The steering is rotated like this. What will happen? Okay, this shaft is also rotated like this. Okay, so that time this ball nut track move this-ward. Okay, on the worm gear. If we change the direction when turning the another side, okay, this shaft is moved this way. That time this ball nut track set move this way on its worm gear. Oh, what happened? So here move this way. Okay, just think. Here there is a gear sector. Okay, this gear meshed with the nut. Okay, so this ball nut drag move this what happened that time? Okay, this gear sector also it's okay. The okay, the current position he gets here and is move this way. What will happen? This worm gear also rotate little bit like this. Okay, so what happened? This total gear sector shaft is rotate. There is a small rotation like this. So according to that, okay, here this position, this also rotate. What will happen? This shaft also, this gear sector also rotate like this. According to that pitman shaft also rotate. Okay, move to rotate few distance this way. Okay. The other side, when this ball nut gear is moved this way, what will happen? This gear sector is moved this way, not this side. Okay, this direction. Okay, this direction. So this shaft is moved like this. Okay. So according to that, need pitman arm is move this way. Okay. And here you can see inside of this ball nut rack there are some balls. Okay. So what is the use of these balls? Okay. Here you can see. Okay. It utilize the ball nut movement. Okay, with very smooth. Okay, smooth and efficiently. Okay. I think I explain this by a video. Okay. So there is a worm here. Just observe the things. Okay, here you can see the balls. So this ball nut track come on and move this way or that way. Okay, but here additionally the balls, what happened? These two, there are grooves. Okay, you can see here on the worm here. Okay, this is a ridge and this is the surface. There are two height of surface. Okay, this is ridge and this is grooves. Okay, so here the balls are filled on the grooves. Okay, so these balls are rotated like this. Okay, in the circumference. Okay, these balls are rotated like this circumference. This also circumference, they rotate like this. But here you just imagine when this ball nut track is moved this direction, what will happen? This component also move like this. That type it capture here. Okay, it capture a new groove here. At the same time, it's lost a groove. The last groove it lost. When it's moved this way, what will happen? Okay, this part come here. That is at the same time. That time, this lost this groove. Okay, and is okay capture the new groove or the draw of new groove. Okay, here. So just think, when it move this way, we have to eliminate these last row balls. Okay, balls of this draw slow eliminate, and we have to fill the balls to this new groove. Okay, how it achieved? Okay, here you can see the bypass passage. This is the passage. Okay, this passage. Okay, so the last row balls move through this passage. Okay, and is dropped or fallen into these new grooves and fill here. Okay, so these balls are eliminated and is here filled. Okay, So then what happened? The next time this passage come to here and these balls are eliminated and fill to these grooves, okay, and these straw balls are fill this new groove. If it is now the opposite direction, this is same process. What happened? Here, okay, this passage is related to this right side movement, okay. Here left side movement, there is another passage in the downside, okay. Just imagine it's same as this bypass line, okay. So where there is a opening like this here, okay, that time this ball nut drag move left direction, so these balls are eliminated and travel through this passage and complete its path and filled again is swollen into this groove, okay. Then these balls are eliminated and fill the next groove, okay. Because here when you just imagine when you steer the steering wheel, you didn't feel any hardness, so it's very smoothly, okay. What happened? This type of operation makes the steering function very smoothly, okay, because of this bolts arrangement, okay. So that's why these type of steering called recirculating ball steering, okay. Okay, only this row is going to this bypass lines and drop here. Okay, I explain here these balls, okay. Next we study about the recirculating type steering gearbox. Here already I show this picture, okay. When we dismantle a gearbox, okay, recirculating, what will happen? Oh, you can see. So this is the ball nut drag, this is the worm gear, this move this way or that way, okay. This is the gear sector, this both gears are meshed with each other, okay. You can see how it moves, okay. Though this is the pitman arm, okay. That are the bearings, the both side, okay. So this worm gear shaft is fixed, okay. Only this ball nut drag is moved onto the worm gear, okay. This okay. Here it is moved, that's not proper. We hold this both end, okay. Okay. Okay, we hold this both end. So this worm gear shaft is not moved. Only this ball nut drag is moved this way to that way. So according to that, this gear sector also partially rotates. Okay. So I'll draw this up in Pitman. Okay. These are the bearings. So because of this bearing, this shaft is fixed firm. Okay. Okay. Now you can see how it's moved. Okay. The ball nut drag is how it moves. Okay. That's very clear. That is clear. The way of their explaining is very clear. So this is the body of the recirculating ball gearbox. So now we assemble the all parts into this gearbox. Okay, so there's a bearing. So in that worm gear shaft, inside the gear body, now put the on the H bearing, okay, and close by the cap. Here you can see that thread of the ball nut, okay, ball nut track, okay, thread of the ball nut track. So here that is gear sector, okay. We have to mesh the thread of the gear sector and ball track, ball nut track, okay. So now both are meshed, okay. We close the gap, and here that's other end of the gear sector. Here that pitman arm is connected, okay. Now connect. So as per the rotation of the steering shaft, okay, how that motion is converted, okay. Now you can see how pitman arm is moved. Okay. So that's this greatly reduce the friction and the turning effort of force applied by the driver for steering. That's ball, recirculating balls greatly reduce the friction and turning effort of force applied by the driver for steering. Okay. So that and the advantage of the using this ball recirculating balls. Okay. So finally, so that's a final touch of the pitman arm type. There is a apparatus. You can see here the whole things. Okay, how the pitman arm type steering works. Okay, this is a steering. When you rotate the steering, you can see there is a steering column and flexible coupling. Okay, this is the recirculating ball steering, and this blue color is okay tie rod and here green is track rod. Here you can see this is the knuckle arm, wheel knuckle arm that is connect with the ball joint. Okay, that is connect with the ball joint, and here okay when rotate how the wheels are turned. Okay. That pitman arm here, that is pitman arm. Okay, according to the steering rotation, that pitman move also partially rotate. Okay, that is tightly connected with the rod, and here is connected by through the track road. Okay. So he removed the cover of the recirculating gearbox. You can see the gear sector and walnut track. Okay, activating the motion of the steering, how it moves. Okay, you can see it's move very slowly. Okay, now we see the rack and pinion steering gears. Okay, so these rack and pinion steering gears have become increasingly popular for today's smaller cars. Normally, the smaller vehicles use this rack and pinion gears, rack and pinion steering type. Okay, so first we study about what is rack and pinion with an animation. Okay. I already explained in the ABS brake this. Okay, this uh, this motions already I explained. When this vehicle is turning, what will happen? The vehicle is turned. Okay, this is a translation. Okay, this is translational velocity. Okay, this is the rotational velocity. Okay, this rotational velocity. When the wheel is turning, what will happen? This contact point velocity is not zero. Okay, this contact point velocity is not zero. So what will happen? In the normal conditions, when the wheel is like this, both are balanced. Okay, translational velocity and rotational velocity. Here, okay, this is not a opposite direction, so it's not zero. So it's going to slip. Okay, when steering the vehicle, it's going to slip. So we have to change the direction of this translational force to this direction. So now this rotational velocity and translational velocity is going to balance. Okay, we already okay. Already I taught these things in the ABS brake system. Okay, here you can, when the car is going to turn, okay, okay, without slipping, what happened? And the all vertical perpendicular lines. Okay, for example, this force apply here there are the two force, these perpendicular lines. Okay, all three perpendicular lines mean the respect to a center point. Okay, okay, only these conditions this uh, this vehicle can turn without any slipping or without leaving the road. Okay, so Now its turn of a central point. Okay. Here you can see that blue color is a translational velocity and yellow is rotational velocity, and here that's perpendicular lines of that force are connected in a center point. Okay. So here you can see when these all lines are connected in a center point, okay, that time these angles, okay, this wheel angle is not same, okay, that means this angle is very high, okay, than this angle, okay. That means when it's turned like this in the, okay, in the inner wheel, okay, in the inner side, okay, this side, when the turning point, the inner wheel angle, okay, the turning angle of the inner wheel is higher than the outer wheel, okay. You just think, if these both angles are same, what will happen? Okay, you can see clearly, if the angles are same, okay, if both angles are same, what will happen? These perpendicular lines, these lines, okay, these three perpendicular lines are not meet in a single point, okay. This line, what happened? Is move, these both lines are move here, but this here outer wheel line is move here, okay. Then what happened? The time the vehicles working without any proper steering condition, so this vehicle going to slip or is may face any accidents, okay. So the condition of the proper steering, okay, we have to, these three perpendicular lines are move in a common center points, okay. So we have to change the lines like this, okay. So how? That's it. We change the line and we can, okay, here. So because of the rotation of the wheel, okay, rotation of the wheel, we can change this perpendicular line, okay. So what happened? Now this angle is reduced than before, okay. So we can say clearly, when the vehicle turn, okay, in the inner wheel angle is higher than the outer wheel. This is high, okay. This is the common factor, okay. So this is not a proper steering method, okay. That is the proper steering practice. So because of that, we have, however, we have to maintain this wheel angle is higher than that outer wheel. So according to that, there is a rack and pinion mechanism. Here there is some mechanical linkages, okay. Here you can see, this is track, this is the steering column and there is a flexible joint. Here there is a thread, gear thread, okay. We call this part is pinion, okay. We call the rack and pinion mechanism, and this is rack, okay. This is rack. The rack, onto that rack, okay, you can see some threaded, okay, outer threaded. The thread, okay. So this is called rack. So when this pinion is rotated, okay, this side, what will happen? This move or is meshed with this, the thread of the pinions, okay, move onto this rack, okay. So these both threads are meshed here, okay. So it's rotated like this, what will happen? Okay, it's rotated like this, it's move this, okay, it's rotated like this, this firmly fixed, okay. So only this pinion is not moved, this only rotated, but okay, this rotational motion is, okay, converted to, translated to the straight motion, okay. This rotation, so this is rotated like this, what will happen? This rack is moved this way, or that, okay. So here This is the tie rod, we call tie rod. Here the ball joints are connected with the steering knuckle. Okay. So here you can see according to that mechanism, okay, here because of this ball joint and here this ball stud joint connected here, the outer, okay, outer tie rod and here the rack and here also according to this mechanism linkages, mechanical linkages, this when the car turn is maintained when the inner, okay, inner wheel is maintain the inner wheel with higher angle. Okay, here there is a lower angle, here it's because of this mechanical linkages. Okay. So now fixes, now you can see how so this is the rack, the pinion move onto that track. Okay, so here this knuckle arm, this is the engine body, knuckle and connect with the engine body, and here this is the tie rod. Okay, there is a ball stud is connected with here and the rack, and here the ball joint is connected. Okay, you can see when the pinion is rotated, what will happen? This rack is moved to left or right direction. According to that, these wheels are turned with higher angle. Okay. So now you can see this fulfill. Now rack and pinion is fulfill this center command point factor. Okay. So this is the rack and pinion. You can see clearly. Okay. Power steering, okay, power steering pump and pressure. There are some pressure lines. Okay. So this is the thread of the rack and here pinion. Okay. There is additionally you can study here rotary control valve. This is a control valve. Now we study about what is this control valve and how it works. Okay. This is a tie rod. Okay. Everything is clear. Okay. Oh, these other things are were shown in the animation. Okay. Now we study here. You can put this is a piston. Okay. Here there are some fluid mechanism also here, fluid lines. Okay. Why these fluid lines loose? Okay. So this is the thread. It's normally mechanically worked. Okay. Because of the gear thread arrangement, it's mechanically worked. Okay. Moreover, okay, this is the piston. Okay, there is a cylinder. This is a rack cylinder and this is the rack shaft. There are two lines you can see. Okay, so you normally one line is come from the power steering pump. Okay, there is a reservoir. Here where is a reservoir? Okay, where in the power steering oils are stored. Okay, so pump this power steering pump. This pump is pumped oil, and this is a supply high pressure line, and this is the return line is going to reservoir. Okay, that's clear. Here you can see there are two lines. Okay, one is in the left corner and the other is right corner. Okay, where there is a two room. The brown color you can see there is a some space area. Okay, like a room. Here there is a piston divided that both area, and not both. When this rack move, this piston also move because the piston is fixed on the rack shaft. Okay, so you just think with some electronically electronically advanced, so electronically this mechanical system is merged with the electronic system. So when you rotate, okay, when you rotate the this okay, steering, what will happen? We have to move this way, okay, steering. Okay, you move this way. So we have to wait. We move this way. So this wheel is going to turn like this. Okay, am I correct? I think. Okay. So what happened? We have to the other side. Wait, I didn't clear. Okay, this move this way. Here this is also move this way. So I think this way. I didn't. So what happened? This racket move this side. Okay, this rotate this way. So the rack is move. Wait. I didn't rotate like this. No, the rack is move this way. Okay. What will happen? So this car is just think about, okay. This car is moved to this angle, okay. This angle, okay. That's no problem, okay. No. So what will happen? So this rack is going to move this way, okay. This is a mechanically this force is applied here. Additionally, these fluid lines also, because of the rotation, okay, steering rotation, that ECU, okay, got the input data, and the ECU know the motion of the rack, okay. Now ECU also find the motion. When the rotate like this rack is moved left side, okay. So that time it's allow the signal, it send the signal, okay, to control valve. So that time the control valve allow open this line, okay, and that fluid is fill here, okay. Because of the pressure here, fluid fill here. Because of the pressure applied on this piston, what will happen? Is utilize or is give a boosting? Is give a boosting energy to move this rack very effectively and smoothly, okay. Okay, when we rotate the steering like this, okay. So this rack is moved like this. So the pinion is rotated like this. So this rack is going to move this direction, okay. That time we have to give a pressure here, okay. So that time this line is opened by control valve because the ECU send the signal, okay. So this fluid, high pressure fluid enter to this area, okay, and fill here, and it give the pressure to this piston, okay. The piston block this area, okay, divided this area by this piston. So it give the force to here on the piston, okay. This fluid give the force onto this piston. So this okay, this fluid pressure applied on the piston boost the rack movement, okay. Now it's boosting the rack is movement. That's why when we rotate the steering, we cannot feel any hardness, okay. It's very smooth because of this, okay, fluid and mechanical merging of this fluid and mechanical practices, okay. That's why this go. Now we study separately. We study about this control valve, how this control valve is work. Okay, this is a control valve. here you can see there is a here steering wheel is connected. Okay, steering wheel is connected. Here there is a pinion. Okay, this is a pinion, here the track. Okay, so you can see here two lines. Okay, this is the main line, the reservoir and pump. Okay, pump the, okay, reservoir, pump. This line is from the pump. Okay, okay, it's come to the high pressure line, and here is come enter to this cylinder or control valve. Okay, in the area, and this here this fill up with the fluid. Okay, here you can see there are two lines. Okay, one is related for left, one is related for right. Okay, the piston area. Here there is a hole. Okay, there are some hole like this. Okay, there is only one hole. Sorry, here there is some hole. Okay, this time neutral position. So this is the hole. Okay, so because of this hole is come and there is a hole like this. Okay, is enter through this hole and fill this area by the oil. Okay, there you can see there is a torsion bar. The torsion bar means this is the, okay, this is the input shaft, this is the output shaft. Okay, inside of there are a small bar. Okay, that's called torsion bar. Okay, there is a small torsion bar here. Okay, there is a bar. When we rotate this direction, steering, okay, we start to rotate this torsion bar. Inside of this bar, there is a bar. This example, this is a gear shaft. Inside of there is a small like this. Okay, steel bar. That's called torsion. Okay, this is the steering. When we rotate the steering, okay, this torsion bar feel very hardness. Okay, or this torsion bar going to twist or bend. Okay, deflect. Okay, at that time, okay, because of the torsion bar, okay, when it's twist or bend this torsion bar, okay, we have when we rotate the steering wheel, okay, this goes stable, there are some force applied on this torsion bar. Okay, twisting force. Okay, when we rotate the steering. Okay, that time these sleeves, this, okay, this control valve inner body, okay, move this control valve, move into this sleeve. Okay, this move into this sleeve. That time, okay, is move upwards. What will happen? This called, okay, it's called come to this, okay, come to this same level. Okay, same level. What will happen? That time this this fluid line is open. Okay, right fluid line is open. When the coal is come to this same level, what happen? The store fluid move through this line. Okay, so the steering is rotated to other side, this direction. Okay, what happen? This torsion bar is twisted, but it's bending or twisting the opposite direction. Okay, so that time the control valve is moved downwards. Okay, control valve is moved downwards, though this hole is arrived to the same level. Okay, when the fluid which store in this inside move to here and is go to the left room or right room. Okay, and this the normal condition, this hole is moved. Okay, there is some another hole, so that is for when it's open. Okay, this return lines, inside the return lines, fluid come to here and again is arrived to reservoir. Okay, this is how the control valve is work. Okay, I will clearly show in the video, okay, how these control values were. So here that things are told here, okay. When the steering wheel is turned, the resistance of wheels, okay, the resistance of wheel and the weight of the vehicle cause the torsion bar to twist, okay. So this twisting causes rotary valve to move in its sleeve up and down, aligning the fluid. Aligning means when the hole is come to straightly this part, this fluid will move, okay. That's aligning. Aligning the fluid for the left or right or neutral position, oil pressure exert the force on the piston helps move the rack assisted, okay. Here there is a rack shaft, here piston. When this oil is moved, is push the piston like this. When oil is moved here, is push the piston the other side, okay. The piston is attached directly to the housing to your function, okay. Okay, now we study about another video. Here you can get very clearly. So here you can see this power steering, okay. This is the steering column and here is inside of the pinion. This is the track and here this is a rubber, okay, rubber cover, here rod, okay. These are the tie rod. The flexible coupling here, control valve is actually here, okay. How it's done? This is a tie rod. Okay. So this is a control valve. So control valve you can see two lines, okay. So one is one side, one is okay. One is high pressure line, okay. This is a high pressure line, okay. This gives the supply to control line and this valve is low pressure and is going to reserve here. And there are two lines here, okay. This is for one is okay. Here inside here there is a piston. Here that's the right side and here left side, okay. There are two lines, supply lines, fluid, okay. So now the flexible coupling he remove and he loose the chassis nuts, okay, to remove. You can see here that's a ball joint, okay. Now you can, this is the steering knuckle arm that, here the tie rod is connected here, there's a thread and with the ball joint, okay. So this is the outer tie rod, that is inner tie rod connected with the track, okay. Here there is a ball joint, okay, we go, this is the ball joint. Now he remove the ball joint, okay, by using the grinder, okay. So now he completely dismantled eliminate the steering rack, okay. So that is control and here that's cover. There are some parts you can see here. So here there is here is a inner, okay, tie rod. This is a inner tie rod. Here this tie rod is connected with the track, okay, here rack. But because why this cover, there is a rubber cover, because the rod inside of this that rack rod, okay. Here there is a thread, okay. This rack rod is moved this way or that side or left and right. So inside of this rubber also, okay. That's why this in this is covered by this rubber, okay. So there is some flexible because of this some suspension conditions, okay. It can move the flexible, okay, because of the suspension. So the steering system is the suspension system is assisted with this steering system, okay. Here you can see other thing. Now with this remote, you can see how you remove. Okay, remove the inner tie rod. Okay, you remove inside of there is a ball stud. Okay, you can see clearly. Here there is a thread. Okay, the wheel alignment you already studied about the wheel alignment. I explain why we need the wheel alignment. Okay, wheel alignment we need to this steering. Okay, steering. In the normal condition, okay, in the proper condition, the wheels are like that, okay. Also very vertical, also vertical to surface, okay. But here you can see there is an angle, okay. That means this time, okay, the normally this tire is worn out equally, but this time what happened? The contact area, okay, between the tire and surface is here, okay. So this edge tire is more okay, more worn out than the outer edge, okay. Here the outer edge tire, okay, surface is worn out more, okay, burn out more than the inner surface, okay. Because of we have to align this, okay, align this to vertical, okay. So here we told the alignment, we use the word toe in. Toe in means the wheels are, okay, inclined to inside, okay. This is inclined to outside, okay. That is toe out, okay. So however, how we adjust, okay, how we adjust, okay, we have to maintain the wheel vertically, perpendicular, okay, we have to adjust, okay. That's why I that is shown in the video in the tie rod, okay. Here ball joint, okay, ball joint there is a steering arm, okay, steering arm connect with the ball joint, and here is a wheel, okay, this is the wheel, okay. We have to adjust here, okay, there's a thread, okay, we have to rotate this thread, okay, adjust this thread, we can adjust this, okay, distance, okay, from the ball joint, okay, distance. According to that distance we can, okay, move the vehicles by, okay, in an inclined position we can adjust the wheel, okay. So in the toe, the wheel adjustment, this threads, okay, this the outer tie, the thread of the outer tie rod, okay, can be adjusted to align the wheel, okay. So if we align, we can maintain the wheel perpendicular. So this is the thread. So he removed that. There's a bearing. Okay, you can see. Here this is called the rack guide nut. Okay, he removed the rack guide nut. Okay, and now he remove and separate the control valve. Okay, okay, remove, dismantle and separate. He took the control valve, and here you can see this is the pinion. Okay. Okay. So this is the pinion. This pinion is connected with the rack. This is the control valve. Okay. Now here, okay. Remove the rack from the rack cylinder. Okay. Remove the one side edge, and you can see here is a oil sealing. Okay. With bush. Okay. And now he took the steering rack. Okay, here this is the piston. Okay, now you can see this is the piston. Okay, it's fastened with the steering rack. So this is the threads of the steering rack where the pinions, okay, move. Now he is showing how it works. Okay. Actually this located inside, okay, this cylinder. So this is for left line and right line. When oil come to this line, fill here and push this. Okay, push this piston and whole rack to this side. Okay, when the fluid come to this part, and is push this side. Okay, clear, I think. Okay. Just push the opposite direction. Okay. Now he is going to remove the control valve housing. Okay. Before that he told the lines. Okay. Here you can see there are two lines. Okay. One is high pressure line. Okay, that is supply line. Low pressure line, that is return line to reservoir. And here there are two lines, left and right. Okay. That is connected with the rack cylinder. Okay, this is a cow. There's a roller bearing. Okay, how we remove the body. Okay, this is a control valve body. Now we examine the shaft of the control valve. Here this is pinion. This is the connected with the rack. Here there is a connected with the steering wheel. Okay, so here we divided to this side is output shaft, this side is input shaft. This is input shaft, this is the output shaft. Okay, inside of this you can see here. Now clear? Inside of this there is a torsion bar. Okay, that means this input shaft and this output shaft, this input shaft, that's output shaft is not directly connected. Okay, this torsion bar is directly connected through this. By along this torsion bar, the output shaft and input shaft is connected. Okay. Now you can see some of hole. Okay. You can see here. This is the return line and this is the high pressure line. When the high pressure line come and fill inside of this body, okay, cylinder, the oil are filled. Okay. Here, these lines, they are a hole. Okay, they are some hole. This hole is related to this neutral line or high pressure line. Okay, the supply when it's come to here and it's okay. When this line and this hole is the same level, what happened? The fluid enter to this cylinder. Okay. Then this line is for low. High pressure line is a low pressure. Low pressure. This hole is come to this. Okay. This same level. These holes are come to same level. What happened? Okay. The fluid will leave from the cylinder to reservoir. Okay. Okay. These both lines are okay. These holes are very big. Okay. The size is very big, large. Okay. But here there is a two line. These two holes are. You can see there are two holes are very similar. That. Just compare with the other two holes. Okay, these two holes are what? These are one is for left line, other is for right line. Okay, this also same, and the other side there is a two lines. Okay, left right. Okay, when this right hole is come to this same level, okay, this control valve let the fluid to allow towards the track. Okay, that is low pressure. Here there is a two layer. Okay, that is related to that supply line. Now he remove this housing. Okay, that is pinion. There are input shaft. There is a okay. This separated here. That is output shaft and input shaft. He break the shaft. Okay. So to see the torsion bar, okay, he break the shaft to now this is twist. When it's applied, force is applied, the torsion bar inside of this arrangement. Okay, now you can see it. So clear. This is the torsion bar. Okay. So it's not directly connected. This is connected by the torsion bar. Okay. That is located inside of this shaft. Okay. Okay, now you can see this is the ball joint. Okay, how we remove the ball joint? What is there inside? There is a rubber bush. Okay, here there is a plastic. Okay, plastic bearing and the ball stud. There is a ball. Okay, ball stud and plastic bearings are there. Okay. Ball stud and plastic bearing are there inside of this ball joint. Okay. So I already told in the outer the track, the toe in tie, there is a thread in the tie rod. Okay. To change is for assigning wheel alignment. Okay. And these type of mechanical advantages, okay, that similar movement of stub axle is obtained with larger angular movement of steering. Okay, that means the steering wheel movement is very larger for a particular stub axle movement, but because of this large angular movement, the hardness of steering is reduced. Okay, because of these mechanism, fluid and other mechanical, okay, practices. So these type of track and pinion, what is the advantage? This track and pinion is occupied very small space and uses less number of linkages than the pitman arm type. Okay, very less number of linkages. Okay, there is no bigger track rod or other things. Okay, components compared to worm and wheel type of gear. Next we study about the power steering. Okay, what is power steering? Here, this power steering, this is a mechanically worked. Okay, the power steering also same function is here. There is an electric motor assist the steering mechanism or steering rotation to, it gives the very smooth operation or boosting, okay. The same purpose like the fluid lines, okay. So there is an electric motor used here. Additionally, the power steering, okay, you can see this is the steering wheel. There is a gear, worm gear. Additionally, is connected with the motor. Here brushless DC motor is used, okay, widely used, the power steering, okay. Now you can see it also give the rotation or extra force, okay, additionally give for the steering rotation, okay. So there is a electronic control unit, ECU. This here ECU, okay, there are some inputs read by the ECU, torque applied by the driver, okay, in the steering wheel. How much torque the driver applied, the steering angle, okay, how much the steering going to rotate or turn, steering wheel speed, okay, the rotation speed. According to this input data, okay, this ECU decide and determine the rotation, the torque and rotation speed of this motor. And the steering angle, if we rotate this side or that side, according to that, this rotation also need to change, okay. So okay, this motor can rotate both side, okay, both direction. So this ECU, according to this data, the ECU give the input or input data, it give the output to this DC motor, okay. So according to that, DC motor can change its speed and torque and direction also, okay. So here you can see there is a torsion bar here. Additionally, here also there is a torsion bar. So this type of data is measured by, okay, by the Hall effect sensor. We already studied in the Hall effect sensor where in the ignition system, I think. A Hall effect sensor and torsion bar arrangement. The torsion bar arrangement because of the twisting, okay, because the twist in the torsion bar, that torque is calculated, okay. So it is calculated by the torque is calculated by this torsion bar, and moreover there is a Hall effect sensor. So it sends the data to, okay, okay, the data input data from the Hall effect sensor and torsion bar, okay, read by the ECU, and it determine or take the decision, okay, output decision. So it give a boosting force to motor failure. This is the serious condition. Just you think, okay. This is this wheel, okay. This is the worm here, and this is the worm screw, okay. When this motor is failure, what will happen? This is totally locked. This gear, this is not going to rotate. So this gear wheels or worm gear wheels also going to lock, okay, stuck, okay. That time, if any emergency condition, we have to suddenly we going to suddenly turn the vehicle, okay. So that time this motor is, okay, motor got failure or some issues, okay. That time we cannot turn the steering in emergency condition. So because of this emergency condition, okay, we cannot rotate the steering wheel, this arrangement, okay. So what is the further development of this to sort out this issue, okay. Here this steering shaft is not directly connect with this worm here, okay. If we directly connect this, when this power steering pump failure, this worm gear and this shaft cannot rotate, okay. So what happened? Additionally, there is a sun gear, okay, straightly connect with the input shaft, steering shaft, sun gear, and there are some, okay, here this is sun gear, this is directly connect with this shaft, and inside of the in the inside surface of this worm gear, there you can see the ring gear, the green color ring gear is fixed gear, okay. Inside of this inside surface of this worm gear, there is a ring gear, fixed gear, okay. So additionally, you can see this is the planetary gears. There are 4 planetary gears, and this is the carriers, okay, planetary carriers, okay, planetary carriers. So just you can think, when it is rotate, this both are fixed, okay. So this worm gear rotate, this sun gear also rotate, okay. When this shaft is rotate, this when the worm gear rotate, this ring gear also rotate, okay. When this motor rotate, okay, motor rotate, worm gear rotates, then it's transmitted to worm gear, and ring gear also at the same time rotates, okay. Here when the steering shaft rotates, what happened? This sun gear is directly connected with the steering shaft, sun gear also rotate. So at the time, here it can move, this planetary gear moves, okay, onto these grooves of the sun gear and the ring gear, okay. It can move onto this sun gear grooves and ring gear grooves, okay. So there's a 2 motion, you just think, okay. When the normal time, this steering wheels rotate, this sun gear also rotate, okay, because of the sun gear rotations, okay, because this ring gear also rotate, okay, the ring gear also rotate. At the same time, in the, okay, this worm screw also rotate, this okay, worm gear also rotate, worm gear also rotate, so sun gear also rotate. So again it gives the boost, okay. Normally it's rotate, okay, because of the sun gear it rotates, okay, straightly it's transmitted the rotation by this sun gear, planetary gear to this output shaft. At the same time, it gives the extra movement or extra force when it's rotating the worm gear and sun gear. It gives the transmit the rotation to planetary gears, okay. So when the planetary gear also rotate with the extra boosting, okay, force, okay, that time this output shaft also going to boost, okay. So just think, when this motor is got failure, any failure, that time this is not rotate, this worm gear and ring gear cannot rotate, okay. At the same time, using these arrangement, this worm gear and ring gear are the fixed component that time, okay. That rotate is a fixed component. At that time, this shaft is rotate, this ring gear is rotate, sorry, this sun gear is rotate, so this planetary gear is rotate, this is the fixed, these are fixed, this planetary gear is rotate inside of this ring gear, this is fixed, and but this okay, this ring gear planetary gear is rotate inside of this ring gear, okay. So that time when that power motor failure, we can rotate, we can maintain the rotation of we can transmit the movement to output shaft, okay. Now I play the video, you can get clear idea, okay. When the power motor is working, okay, now the power motor failure time, straightly it's connected. I play again, okay. Now the failure time. Okay, the motion is straightly transmitted to output. Okay, so this is the power steering. I hope you got a clear idea. So this is a power steering, normally turning gearbox. Okay, hydraulic assistant turning about the steering system. Okay, so here is it all. The power steering are operated by a fluid under pressure. Okay, there are some oils. Okay, rating SAE 5 W or SAE 10 W. Higher depending, this depending on the atmospheric conditions. Okay, this is the end of this lesson. Okay, I hope I clear all things. Okay, under this steering functions. Okay, here you can see the discussion. Okay, part. So you have to search in the internet or any other books, related books. Okay, to fill down these discussions. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.